All right. Good evening, everybody. It's me. Welcome back to the Woke Mind Virus. And today we're talking about the recent controversies involving former mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio. So, Bill de Blasio, if you don't know who he was a super progressive mayor of New York City, by far and away their most progressive mayor in the last few years, right? If Zoran's elected, he'll be more progressive than Bill was. But de Blasio was much more progressive than Eric Adams, Mike Bloomberg, Rudy Giuliani, any of them, right? And he's a supporter of Zoran. Bill de Blasio is the one living mayor who is supporting Zoran Mamdani for mayor. And recently, the Times of London, which is a Rupert Murdoch owned news outlet, was a Rupert Murdoch owned news outlet, and their sister news network for America is the New York Post, which, as you know, is a very conservative network. The Times of London is a very conservative network. And recently, the Times of London did an interview with Bill de Blasio, and then they published, here, I'll read it. Just before 5 p.m. on Tuesday, I saw a text from New York Post reporters asking for comments on my interview with the Murdoch-owned Times of London about Zoran Mamdani. The problem was, I had never given an interview to the Times. So what happened is the Times of London wrote an article with an interview with Bill de Blasio, where de Blasio just slandered Zoran, just attacked him, said that his plans were inconceivable and aren't going to work, and said that the plans were stupid and all this kind of stuff. And then it turns out they got the wrong Bill de Blasio. There was another Bill de Blasio, and they interviewed him instead of the former mayor. They interviewed I think he's a wine distributor, Bill de Blasio, instead of New York City former mayor Bill de Blasio. And it's like, and then Bill de Blasio, the real Bill de Blasio, wrote an article for The Nation, which is a Zoran Mamdani supporting progressive outlet, right? They're not going to slander him like the Times of London did. And the Times of London and Rupert Murdoch and the mainstream media has come out saying, oh, guys, it was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. Some intern did something wrong. It was no malice intent. Shut up. We know you're lying. You're not slick, man. Like, obviously, you guys, Rupert Murdoch, it hurts you if Zoran's elected. It hurts you if Zoran is elected mayor. And I bet you weren't very happy whenever Bill was elected mayor of New York City, too. Because he went after the oligarchs. Like you, Rupert Murdoch. And whenever he went after the oligarchs, which Rudy Giuliani never did, Michael Bloomberg never did, Eric Adams never did, the oligarchs got mad at him. That's why Trump openly praises Rudy, Bloomberg, and Adams, even though two of the three are from the Democrats, and constantly says de Blasio is the worst mayor in New York City history, whenever Adams was taking funds from Turkey, I believe, was getting bribed by Turkey. I mean, who's ever been bribed by Turkey? Turkey? That's who you're getting your bribes from? Weird. And whenever Rudy Giuliani made those stop and frisk laws, imposed racism on New York City, and they go after Bill as being the worst mayor. Arguably, he's the best of those four recent mayors. And the mainstream media is now dividing the progressive movement, or they're trying to, by getting Bill de Blasio to attack Zoran and getting Zoran to try to fire back, and then progressives squabbling at Bill and squabbling at Zoran, and getting a whole division among the left. But then, of course, Bill had to come out and save the day, right? He came out, wrote the article for The Nation, a progressive outlet. That way he knew the Nation won't slander him like the Times of London did, and defended the left, defended Mamdani, and defended the movement for a more affordable New York City. Thank you, Mr. de Blasio. Thank you for what you did. We needed that article, and we're glad that you stood up for the left. Thank you, Mr. Bill. All right, the election coming up in about 2 days. We got 2 days left to fight against Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, and the far right, the corporate media, the mainstream media, the American corporations, the establishment, and the oligarchy. And most importantly, we got 2 days to beat Andrew Cuomo. We're going to demolish the Fight and Deliver Party. We're going to demolish Cuomo. We're going to demolish Curtis Sliwa. We're going to win in a landslide never seen before in history. The mandate of heaven. Thank you all. Good night. See you on Tuesday.